Okay, Ashish, go ahead. You were telling me in the break that listen, I'm going to take the minister on these proposals. I'm not going to agree with him.
No, I think it's refreshing. I think especially for the parents, you have a straight-talking man after such a long time in this position.
Yeah.
He's talking common sense. He's speaking from the heart. That's great. Do the class 10 in a heartbeat. No one is going to get hurt. Yes. Certainly in schools which are up till grade 12, nothing. All the people who are going to fight you have a vested interest.
Yes.
But frankly, that's not going to change much fundamentally. Do that. It's a great statement. First 20 days, 30 days, you've done that. The issue I want to bring up, Mr. Sibal, is the how-to of this whole thing. What is the last mile? And, you know, one wish I have for you, I want you to be the first minister in the history of India who sits in a classroom for 100 hours over the course of your term.
Done.
I want you to sit in classrooms, watch
We'll do. That's a promise.
And we'll be there recording it.
No, really. Watching children and teachers, and it will solve so many of the questions.
Okay, in fact, let's get some voices in from children and teachers. But there was a student here who said, I want there to be a 10th standard exam because I want to have that discipline so that I'll actually study. Who was saying that?
If you do not have the 10 boards, the children will not have that pressure on them to study. And when they go to 11, they'll be like, oh my God, so much of burden on them suddenly. So that won't be good because, you know, the marks would come down. And
I think we need to answer that. We need to answer that.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in school, at that time school for me was still class 11.
That's right.
Right? I had no class 9 exams.
Yes.
Right? And I'm doing okay, no?
More than okay.
Okay? I'll give you another example. All of Europe, you have what is called the International Baccalaureate. Now, the International Baccalaureate also is in India, in Kerala and some other schools. Where's the class 10 there? Do you think the people who pass out of International Baccalaureate are any less, endowed than students who do class 10? So I think that's a myth. Issue is not how well you do in exams. Issue is how well educated you are.
And also,
what are the kind of sensitive citizen you are going to be as you move into society? This is not about exams. This is about India.
It's not about marks.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something to you, you know, just because you're being tested doesn't mean you've learned anything.
Exactly.
Going to school is about learning things. Testing is one part of the process. It is not to scare you, not to scandalize you, not to throw you out of the system. And I think this is
you don't have to suffer in school.
Another very important thing is that at least for 4 or 5 months, actually there's no learning happening in class 10. I mean, after about, say, August or September, you've just sort of, all you're doing is at rote. 6 months of such an important time of your lives has gone, and until you get your board.
But there must have been a rationale for the 10+2 system. There must have been a rationale
for the vocationalization of education.
So that to actually give people a standardized test by which they could take that pass out of 10th standard and go and apply for a
but they looked at vocationalization and that. It never happened.
Look at the degeneration, Sagrika. The whole thing was a test. And for the sake of test, a textbook, and for the sake of textbook, a testing procedure.
So it was like a standardized test for everyone across social audience. Let's take the next question that has actually come to us from Aditya Vignesh of DAV Boys Secondary School, Chennai.
So my question to you is, why can't a uniform grading system be introduced for grades from 1 to 10? Because parents usually compare their words with the first ranker, and this in turn leads to a kind of mental pressure among students.
Want to respond to that?
Absolutely right, but that's what I suggested. That's one of the things I said. That we want that.
How fair is that? Again, I come down to it on the bright student who might say, hey, listen, I'm getting 95% mark. Why should I get the same grade as someone who's getting 90?
For God's sake, this is all over the world. This is happening. So is everybody doing injustice to bright students all over the world?
Okay.
There's a grading system. You take the International Baccalaureate. You have a point system. You get 39, 38, 40, 41.
Absolutely.
You know, so you can't judge from one to the other.
That's right.
This is a very narrow understanding of bright system.
Mr. Minister, you know, one of the things I think you need to push really hard is this bright and weak nonsense needs to stop.
Absolutely.
We are labeling our
But
children
is that a little bit utopian? Because at the end of the day,
at
you do have to have a distinction between people who are perhaps attaining a certain scholastic level.
I'll tell you exactly why this vocabulary stays.
Okay.
Because people don't know what to do about teaching and learning.
Okay,
so
let's hear
talking about grading.
True.
Do you mean that if somebody gets 100% marks, he's necessarily the brightest?
Right.
Certainly not.
But I have only one question for you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Sibal, I completely agree with you, and I feel that I've also took the International Baccalaureate exams, and I feel that, you know, although the course was really rigorous, I felt that I was on par with everyone else, and it gave equal opportunity to my fellow students, you know, to excel. So I completely agree. And
okay,
yeah.
Anyone here who has a comment on whether we should have marks or grades?
Good evening, sir. I would really like to know the basic idea why not marking and only grading, and what do we do with the real toppers? Seriously, because only the grading, as it has been already discussed, the grading will generalize the students. Okay, the student also said that, so that there will be no difference. So then,
I want to ask you a question. If a child gets, say, 96 in maths and another gets 99 in maths, who is better?
Exactly.
Can you judge? I don't think so.
Exactly.
That's the issue.
Absolutely.
That's the whole issue.
thing.
I think what you're proposing,
Absolutely.
and I think what the minister is proposing, and I think what he's leading us to is a complete change in mindset, perhaps.
Absolutely.
And we really
That's
need to
what
go
is
in for a
required.
change in
That's what we
mindset.
need.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to come down to the national board, because that is the question we're asking on this segment. Your rationale for having an all-India board.
Okay, my rationale is the following, and I don't think that will happen tomorrow. I'm not proposing it for tomorrow. I think what we need to do is increase the level of quality of education in schools all over the country, right? And once there is a level playing field, then after class 11, you shouldn't have to sit for class 12. Every child sits for a university examination.
That's right.
Yes.
Right?
That's it.
But you cannot do that unless the quality of education is uniform throughout the country. So you don't have to sit for a class.
No, but the states have a lot of problems with that.
That's the point. Therefore, I cannot do it. Therefore, once the Right to Education Bill is in place, once the state boards are on board, the state governments are on board, we put greater investment into state education, increase the quality of those schools, then only can we think of that.
I'd just like to link what we are, let's say we're looking at a 5-year horizon, because we know you'll be there for at least 5 years. And we look at children who are in 5th standard today, who 5 years from now will be eligible for, 10th. We do, as Pratham, we do a survey across the country. This year will be the 5th year, called ASAR, the Annual Status of Education Report, in which we have a very simple arithmetic and a reading task. And the reading task has about 8 sentences, which are at 2nd standard level. And we find that on the national average today, and this is done in rural areas, there are both private and government school children. Right. It's done at home. We find that 50% of children who are today in 5th cannot read fluently a 2nd standard text.
This is very interesting. Functional illiteracy.
Yeah. So I'm saying that doesn't mean things can't change, but I'm saying that if we want to think incrementally over the next 5 years, to say this child today who, I'm not saying good or bad or ugly, that he can't today really read fluently, and the 5th standard texts are much more difficult. This has no samyuktakshars, it has no complicated syntax. I want to take this child to have a really fighting chance to really do well in whatever kind of 10th standard that we envision for our country. How do we take these steps?
So that's
what do we do?
How would
because there's, everything is so layered. There's a tremendous amount of layering. You've said it yourself, and there is no standardized system of testing. There are no standardized tools. Even the kind of teachers.
Absolutely.
But how would having a national board help that?
This is very important.
I want to place before you why I said this when I was thinking about it. And I said it because students should have the mobility to move from one state to another without having to bother which school they went to. Right? I can come from Tamil Nadu to Punjab. I should have no problem.
No, but you already have the left saying, but why shouldn't the Bengal have their own curriculum?
For example, in Europe today, 40 European countries have got together and started what is called the Bologna process, through which nationals from different countries, a Polish student can go to Germany if he so wants. They want the whole school system in 40 European countries to be standardized with one examination. And these are different nations.
But
why?
Because
that results in mobility. You can get a job easily because you can move from one country to another, right? And you learn 3 languages, so you can go to any country you want to go to. We can't replicate that, and we don't want to. But ultimate analysis must be that you must.
But would that be like the joint entrance exams?
Yes, why not? Why not?
That's what we have right now.
But education being a state subject, every state, like for example Tamil Nadu might feel